Welcome back to this episode of the Little Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Damson, and if you have not yet done so, be sure to follow, subscribe, and be sure to leave comments, reviews, and likes wherever this podcast comes to you. We have Spotify, we have YouTube, and we have Apple Podcasts. So whenever you listen to an episode, be sure to leave a like, leave a review, leave a comment, because that helps the channel and the show grow and reach out to more people that need it. Today, we're going to talk about the side of self-love that doesn't make it onto the aesthetic Instagram feeds. We all know about this. We like to talk about growth like it's all sunshine, it's all rainbows, it's all journals, and it's all morning lattes. But the truth that you never hear, growth is a funeral. Growth is the death of your old self. And funerals are painful. They are messy. When you start to prioritize yourself, you often think to yourself that the world is going to clap for you. But very much, the world gets angry because you are not playing the role they assigned to you anymore. You're not playing the part that was given to you. Today, we're going to look at some harsh truths that I came up with for you on this episode. The things that nobody warns you about, and why it's still the only path that is worth taking. So let's get right into it. We have that first truth. Truth number one. When you change, your circle will shrink. When you start saying no to things that drain you, you will lose people. Some of them were friends that you have known for very many years. Might be a decade, might be 2 decades. Some of them might even be family. And you ask yourself, why does that happen? Why is it that when I change, some people don't actually now accept that I have changed? You ask yourself that. People don't always miss you. They miss the version of you that was easy to control. They miss the version that made them feel better about their own stagnation. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, they follow you not because they love you, but because they're afraid of the path ahead. Losing people isn't always a sign that you're doing something wrong. Usually, it's a sign that you've outgrown a space that was too small for your potential. Now, we're going on to truth number 2. Meeting your dark side. Now, self-love is not just about loving your good parts. It's about facing your dark parts. You're facing your jealousy. You're facing your ego. You're facing your toxic habits. And the reality that I want to bring to you today is you cannot heal what you do not acknowledge. True growth involves emotional intelligence, which is the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and say, for today, I was the problem in that situation. Famous psychologist Carl Jung famously said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." So, the move, what do you need to do? You have to be brave enough to admit you are not always the hero of the story. Sometimes you're the villain. And accepting that is where the real work begins. Back a few weeks ago, I was watching a Netflix series titled Bojack Horseman. And there was a scene that really captured me. And I think it's a scene that every person on a growth journey needs to hear. Now, the main character of this series, Bojack, he is a character who constantly messes up. He constantly makes mistakes. He constantly does bad things. And he then begs for forgiveness. He begs for forgiveness, blaming his past. He blames his trauma and his depression for those are reasons as to why he is the way he is. Now, many of you today, and most of you on the show, can somehow relate with this character. But let's go back to the scene. Now, he has his friend Todd, who he lets live in his apartment. But at this point, he does something and Todd finally snaps. He looks to Bojack and says to him, "You can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself like that makes it okay. You need to be better." What is the lesson that I'm trying to draw for you today from this Bojack scene? Growth isn't about feeling bad about your mistakes. It's about stopping them. It's about ending the cycle. You can't use your inner work as an excuse to stay toxic. And as we have heard from Todd, his point was very simple. At some point, you have to stop apologizing and start changing. No one is responsible for your actions but yourself, regardless of your trauma that you face. Now, we're going on to the third truth, and that is the final truth for this episode today. We want growth to be a one and done event. We want to read one book and be fixed. But what most people, or what most Instagram posts, or what most things won't tell you is that growth is a daily, boring effort. It takes massive dedication and it takes massive patience. James Baldwin once wrote, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." And the reality from this quote basically means that you are going to have days where you slip back into old patterns. And that doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you're human. The harsh truth in this is that you have to choose yourself every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Pick yourself up from the ground and keep going. There are days that are going to be tough. There are days that are going to be easy. But every single day counts. Basically, what I'm trying to say to you is, take the growth that is happening in your life one day at a time. It's not going to come instantly. And you're going to backslide. That is non-negotiable. You are going to find yourself at some point backsliding. But one thing that should stay and ring true to you is that you just have to keep going. So that is what I had for you in today's episode. And I want to leave you with this. Yes, you might lose friends. Yes, you will have to face things about yourself that make you cringe. And yes, it's going to take much longer than you might want. But on the other side of that pain is a version of yourself that is not performing for anyone. A version of you that is stable. A version of you that is clear-headed. And a version of you that is genuinely free. So, what is the challenge for us this week? First, today, I want you to write down the dark trait that you've been ignoring. Just admit it. Own up to it. Then decide one small way to be better today. Another thing, if you feel lonely because your circle is shrinking, remember, quality over quantity. Now, I'd like you to do me a favor today. Take a screenshot of this episode from wherever you're listening and post it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, little.growth20, and use the hashtag #truthgrowth. And in that post, tell me, what is one truth you had to accept to move forward? And as we wrap up this episode, I'd like to remind you that it is hard, but it is worth it. Keep growing. I'm Damson, and this has been the Little Growth Podcast. I hope to see you all in the next one.